Right. All right, here we go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the zombie apocalypse.
Yes, it's upon us here at the Bunny Rabbit Hole. I am surviving, and my name is Jason, and this is my co-host,
I am almost undead Craig.
Undead Craig. I like that.
I
I
do
like that. Jason doesn't really rhyme with anything that's real.
except for like Mason.
Yeah, and
Be a
other
Mason
other
car.
eights and names, essentially.
Right.
But see,
Yeah.
this is what we do here at the Bunny Rabbit Hole. What we do is we pick a central theme each and every week, and we talk about it until something inspires us to talk about something different. And we talk about that for a little while, we explore it, we find its end, or till when Craig says, "Hey, let's wrap this shit up and get back to what we're supposed to be talking about." And then we do.
Right. And as Jason said, we take a central theme. We usually spend a week to research it. Our last few podcasts hasn't been a lot of research. It's more about our own personal experiences.
Yes.
But we try to include both sides, and we include our opinions too. And this is for entertainment purposes, so if you're easily offended, we really don't.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah.
So disclaimers are done.
Yes. So, what are we going to talk about today?
I believe we are going to talk about our global pandemic, the Heineken virus, aka COVID-19.
Yes.
Oh, coronavirus. My bad.
The Cerveza de Mexico Corono virus 19.
And for those of you who don't know, the coronavirus has been around for years.
Yes. There's a reason it's called COVID-19, because this is the 19th strain that we found. Right. It's a new strain. It's a powerful strain. It's not a China virus. It's a virus. And
right.
It's here, and it's wreaking havoc. Now, I was talking with some people the other day. It's like, okay, my entire life, I've enjoyed disaster films, reading about zombie apocalypses. World War Z is a great book. Reading and all this shit. I used to watch Doomsday Preppers. I used to do all, never in my wildest imagination did I ever think that this would get to this level that we're at right now.
Right. But, in our previous podcast, we talked about the law of attraction and things like that. Mm-hmm. And, so it brings up the question, with everybody being so fascinated with these, dystopian movies or like zombie movies and shit like that, and like Contagion, Outbreak, and all that stuff. Do you think maybe we wish this to existence?
I do, actually. I do believe that we brought this upon ourselves. Now, it's not because of, this is not going to be like a global warming rant or any of that shit. There is a Native American term called a tulpa. Now, what a tulpa is when a collective of people start giving energy to an idea, and that idea takes on a physical form. Now, right. It doesn't always have to take on a physical form. It can manifest in different ways and become reality some other way. Like, for the perfect example of it recently is the Slender Man.
Right.
Okay. So Slender Man, if you don't know, everybody knows what Slender Man is now. It started off as a Photoshop contest where this guy created a bunch of images of this faceless, tall figure, from Phantasm with no face, in the distance around children. Now, it grew from there to people writing little stories or creepypastas about it, and they gave it a name, a backstory. They started, all these other people started giving it energy, giving it life, until finally it manifested into two little girls trying to kill their friend to please Slender Man.
Right.
Now, Slender Man's still not in reality, but it became reality when these little girls tried to sacrifice their friend.
Right. And, I mean, that's similar to the story we told in our role-playing episode about, the Tom Hanks movie when he went crazy playing Dungeons and Dragons, and he demonized dragons back in the 80s.
Right. And it's funny that you mentioned Tom Hanks, because he has the virus.
Right. And there is this conspiracy theory going around right now where like Tom Hanks, his wife, are actually going to be charged with child sex trafficking and stuff. And
yes.
So the coronavirus is just a cover-up. I firmly believe this is all bullshit.
Right. And
Um,
it's funny though, but so there are other people that are implemented or implicated in this, and one of them was Prince Charles,
yep.
and another one was Harvey Weinstein. They both came down with the virus.
Right. And then there's also saying that Justin Trudeau and his wife are getting charged with financial crimes, and his wife came down with the coronavirus.
Right. So it's
So,
and like we've talked on here 100 times. Conspiracy theories are always the best when they're grounded somewhere in a little bit of reality.
right.
And we do know that there are some of these cabal type of things. I'm not going to go into it, but look up the Franklin Family Credit Union from Omaha, Nebraska, and the child sex trafficking thing that went on through that, and all the people that were implicated in that. So if you go back and read about that scandal, and then go on and uh, put it towards this one with Oprah and Tom Hanks and the rest, it's like, if that kind of happened or could have happened then, it kind of gives this a little bit of validity.
Right. Right. But I mean, reality is it's just a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
But so during these trying times, obviously we all need to wash our hands constantly, not fucking hoard toilet paper for a respiratory virus.
Exactly. It doesn't give. I Everybody knows the meme of Batman slapping Robin from an old comic books panel. I
Yep.
saw one the other day, and it's like, Batman, we got to stock up on toilet paper. And Batman slaps him and says, "It's a respiratory infection, not Chipotle."
See, I can see him doing it in Red Foreman's, voice going, "It's a respiratory infection, dumbass."
Yeah, right. Exactly. Now,
But yeah, go ahead.
I was like, no, we are going to make light and make fun of this, but please remember that we do take this very serious. We both are practicing social distancing. As you can see, I'm in a room all alone. I'm in a
As am
house
I.
all alone.
I can
My
spin
dogs
my
don't
laptop around.
believe, my dogs don't believe in social distancing, but that's cool.
Yeah, but the virus can't affect animals.
Exactly.
So you're good. One thing I find troubling is these companies, like let's call it like utilities, cell phones, all these things. Now would be the best time for them to waive your bill for a couple of months
Right.
until this is all under control. Otherwise, they're going to start sending out shut up notices. They're going to end up going out and shutting up all these people's phones, power, internet, everything. And when all this blows over, they're going to have no customer base and nobody will go back to them because of what they did. But they're also, people need these things because if they're stuck in their home, they need some form of entertainment.
They need some form of entertainment, plus they need to be able to communicate.
Right. Otherwise, they're going to go out, and that's when you're going to get to looting, you're going to get to rioting, and all this other shit, which is going to spread it even faster.
And if you can't stay up to date with the information that you need to understand what's going on, that's when you get the War of the Worlds effect, where people just go off hysterical and start doing stupid shit, and then we get a Rodney King situation where we're rioting in the LA streets or the Watts riots, or Detroit back in the 60s. This doesn't matter what riot, it's a riot.
Right. And also, then you have companies like my wife just told me about it, the town that she grew up in, McHenry, Illinois. They had to send out a cease and desist order to GameStop, Michaels, and Joanne Fabrics because they tried to claim they were essential businesses.
So, yes, a person that I work with, her friend got a letter. He works at Office Depot, and he got one of these letters because, like a lot of states, the state of Washington is shut down now, and he got his essential worker letter from Office Depot. They're saying they're vital to the community. Well, if no other business is open, who the fuck needs paper clips?
Right.
A stapler, some paper. Who the fuck needs that shit?
Places like Honestly, though, places like where I work, because we're running out of shit left and right.
Right. Exactly. So I saw a thing where the governor of Colorado came out and was saying that liquor stores and weed dispensaries weren't essential. So everybody went out there before their shelter in place bill came into effect, and they had lines out the door around the corner at every liquor store because they knew they were going to be quarantined in their house, and who's going to deal with their family without alcohol?
Right. Yeah. Well, and here's a perfect example. So today is what, Wednesday the 25th.
Yes, and it
So,
is poignant that we do mention what date this was done, because we're talking about stuff that will probably change by the morning.
right. So not 2 days ago Monday, but the previous Monday,
Mm-hmm.
when all this started really coming down in Michigan, while I was at work, I worked for 8 hours. I worked from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. During that time, I sold 12 half gallons of liquor, approximately 30 cases of beer, a ton of wine. I was doing sales numbers like it was a Saturday night homecoming for the college that's in town here.
But that was Monday.
That was a Monday during the day because people were afraid we would be shut down.
Wow.
But in our state, convenience stores are considered essential because people need to go there to get stuff that they can't get, instead of going to the grocery store and stuff.
Right.
So we fall under the convenience store umbrella because, like, especially at the store that I mainly work at, because we carry toilet paper, we carry bread, we carry milk, we carry all this eggs, all this other stuff, plus water, soda, and beer and liquor,
Right.
So we have food items on top of that, everything else.
And it's funny, there was a little convenience store that's on my way home that, well, most of the grocery stores didn't have bread. Most of them didn't have lunch meat. They didn't have toilet paper. They didn't have. We walk in this little Minute Mart, and they had toilet paper. They had paper towels. They had eggs. They had milk. They had everything, because people weren't thinking about going there to get this stuff. Everybody went to the Walmarts and the Safeways, the Albertsons, the IGAs. They went to all these different places. The QFCs. Even Rite Aids were sold out of that shit. But this little Minute Mart still had everything.
Yep. And here's a word of advice to those listening. Make friends with the people that work in, like, these stores, these big stores or little stores. Find out when their delivery schedules are. And when you can go in and get some toilet paper. Just don't fucking order it.
Yeah, right.
Because it's not necessary.
Well, so what's all these, the paper mills they've ramped up production on paper towels and toilet paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen in another month? You're going to go in, and right now it's like $12, for a 4-pack for toilet paper because it's hard to find.
Right.
Here in about 2 months, you're going to go in there and it's going to be buy 2 get 3 free. And then you're like, oh, no, that's all you want? You only want 5? That's it? Or why don't you do 2?
Well, actually, in our state, there's a 1-800 number if you notice anyone price gouging by raising a 4-pack of toilet paper to $10.
Right.
They would get nailed for it.
That's cool.
And my wife read an article about these. I think these guys were in Ohio, where they went out and bought a shitload of toilet paper and a shitload of paper towels and all this other stuff. And then they're creating their own black market.
Right. I read that story too.
Yeah, and then they got busted and were forced to donate it all to shelters.
That's like the doomsday prepper that had 17,000 bottles of hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
He just been collecting it for years, and then it's like, oh, well, I got 17,000. Well, we're going to take it from you now.
Right.
And
if you run out of hand sanitizer, go to your local liquor store and buy a bottle of 151.
There you go.
Start washing your hands with that shit. Then lick it clean afterwards. Well, everything on your hands is dead at that point.
They're okay. So I do have to warn about this. There is out there recipes that you can make your own hand sanitizer. It's like a little bit of rubbing alcohol with some aloe vera, and you mix it up. be very careful with that stuff, especially if you're putting it on children. There was a woman in New York a couple weeks ago that made her own hand sanitizer and started putting it on the children's hands when they came in the store, and she was burning the children's hands. So be very, very careful when you do that. Always don't add more alcohol, go with less.
And the thing is, this hand sanitizer only kills like maybe 60 to 80% of the virus. Whereas hand soap, if you wash your hands regularly, kills 100%.
Yeah. And the other thing too about that is, if you read the bottle of hand sanitizer, they all say like kills 99.9% of germs. Asterisk. If you read the asterisk, it says in laboratory conditions. Well, I can kill anything in a petri dish too.
Right.
So just remember that just because it worked in their laboratory doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work on your hands.
Right. Yeah, it's a marketing ploy, is what it is.
Exactly.
They're warping science to create a marketing ploy.
Yeah. And you've all seen it. It works in prices as low as $199 down.
Right.
You know, $2,000 down, $199 a month. And then when you go there, it's like, no, you need $4,000 down, and it's going to be, $350 a month.
Right.
There's always those other ones are all perfect credit, perfect situation, and in this case, it's laboratory perfect conditions. So you understand it, you just may not have seen it related this way.
Well, that's like pricing points for stores. Okay, if I mark this at $5.99, people are like, "Oh, it's under $6."
Yeah.
So no, it's $6.
Yeah.
And then after tax, that's much more than $6.
Right.
And then after the surcharge fee, because you used your card, it's even more.
Yeah. That's like with hard alcohol out here in Washington. There's pretty high taxes on it.
Yeah.
And so it may say like $14.99 for a fifth, but by the time you get it out the door, you spent $19.
Right. Well, here's a perfect example. Here in Michigan, we have these things called Mr. Vapor, which by May will become illegal. So we sell them for $8.49 plus tax.
Okay.
So after tax, it's $9 out the door. But when you use your card with the surcharge on top of it, it comes out to like $9.49. So now you're paying an extra $1.
Wow.
Cash is king, people. Get rid of the card. Start using cash.
Yeah.
It's easier to keep track of what you have if you have cash in pocket.
Very true. And also, a lot of gas stations give you extra, actually change the price of the gas if you pay with cash.
Right. Oh, wow. We're way out of topic. So
let's get back to the virus.
Yeah. So how is it impacting you?
All right. So so like we said, this is Wednesday the 25th.
Yep.
Wednesday the 25th. On Monday, this previous Monday, I live right on, like I said before, I live right on the Oregon-Washington border. And Monday morning, Oregon went a statewide lockdown. And then Monday evening, Washington followed. So, but in the job that I'm in, I'm considered an essential worker. My wife's also considered essential workers, like you are. And I'm out on the highway or the freeway, the roads, and it's not really like it's anything different. There's still tons of cars out.
Right.
In the morning it's a little different, but for the most part it's been the same, the amount of traffic.
People are bored already.
Yeah. And I got quite a few of those texts from people today. It's like, man, I'm bored.
Right.
Today, this afternoon, I was flipping through Netflix and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to watch any of this shit.
Right. See, I guess that's why I'm happy that I'm an artist. I'm never bored.
Right on. So I always like to have something on in the background. Like,
same here.
I'll sit with my laptop on and I'll tinker with websites all day long, and I'm content that way. But I'll spend 15, 20, like today I spent almost a half hour, just finally decided, and I ended up watching Trailer Park Boys for like the 800th time.
Right. For me, the other day it was Naked and Afraid XR.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, but there's no fucking way I would go to the Amazon fucking buck-ass naked.
Nope.
My wife just chuckled about that.
I'm sorry. The first thing that comes to my mind is the old song, "I got a skeeter on my Peter, flick it off."
Yep.
Nope, not getting malaria.
On Amazon, it's a piranha on your Peter.
Yeah, yeah. Little fish that swims up the stream.
Yep.
Nope.
But
no.
So the way it's affecting me is.
I was just about to ask, how are you impacted?
So my wife is a teacher, so obviously she's off work.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, she's still getting paid.
Right.
My son is high school student, so he's home, driving us nuts. But me being considered an essential worker, I've scaled my hours back because our other employees only have this income.
Right.
Whereas I still have my wife's income, so I've cut myself back so they can have more hours so they can pay their bills and shit like that.
You're nice.
Because they need it more than I do.
Yeah, and so they scaled us back. Like all of our maintenance crew is basically working nothing. They're walking through the schools, finding and categorizing things that need to be fixed over the summer.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing for a couple hours a day, and everybody else is and that's only a couple of them. And everybody else is at home, watching videos, but they're all being paid, which is good. Which
right.
We're very fortunate about because most people aren't being paid. Now we have we are doing free lunch programs where you get today's lunch, tomorrow's breakfast. And that all you got to do is just have, show up to the school and they have the lunch ladies out front, handing them out, which has been nice. They've been doing about 200 a day of those.
See, at my wife's school, because most of them are low income,
mm-hmm.
and most of them are picked up by the bus. So basically, the bus drivers are still working, as well as the kitchen staff. They're preparing meals, and the bus drivers are dropping off at each home that's on their route.
Yeah, so they're starting that. They just started implementing that in our district, where you call the school and say, hey, we want them delivered. Then they deliver it to your bus stop, and then between 11 and noon, and then you just stand at your bus stop, and they stop and give you your lunch, and then
cool.
There you go.
Yeah, see, I had to implement some new policies at my job. Because we have people that come in and they want to buy the cigarillos because they're going to smoke weed in it.
Right.
I tell them it's cheaper to go out and spend a one-time investment of $20, buy a pipe or a one-hitter instead of spending $1 a day on this shit.
Right.
I'm like, what's wrong with weed tasting like weed? Why do you have to have it flavored? But anyways, so I'm at work. This guy comes in and he's like, hey, can I feel the leaves so I can find the right one? I'm like, no. And normally I let him do it. And he's like, well, why not? I said, because if you touch it, you're buying it.
Right.
He's like, oh, that makes sense. Luckily, people are in the right mindset right now that they're accepting these things. And I mean, I put up a sign on our doors the other night that said, due to the COVID-19 outbreak, unfortunately, we are no longer able to accept returnables because in Michigan, you remember, we have bottle deposits.
Right.
And I said, and please continue to maintain social distances. Thank you. So I've got this sign up there, and this kid comes in with this big trash bag full of bottles, which I've told this kid time and time again, we can only take $2.
Oh.
And he comes in with this big trash bag. I said, yeah, no. He's like, what? Like, you didn't read the sign? Apparently, public school's failing you, or you're just not going. He said, I can't take returns. He's like, okay, well, can I use your phone? I'm like, no.
You're not touching my phone.
I'm like, why would I give you my phone for you to spread whatever on it?
Exactly. Wow.
I'm like, no. I said, you can take your empties and you can go. Because for one, nothing pisses me off than seeing like a 12-year-old kid come into a liquor store unsupervised without a parent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not cool.
Nope. And I've caught these kids stealing before. So, yeah,
Yeah,
fun stuff. But I mean, people are getting desperate. People are doing stupid things, and that's what we need to stop. And we need to focus on these people that are doing good things for the community, like the schools that are providing these free lunches to kids.
yes. There a lot of schools across the United States opened up free daycares for first responders, and our school is one that's also, you know, with a lot of other ones, they're actually going to start opening up free daycare for grocery workers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some good stuff coming out of this. There's some good stories. There's, you know, it's refreshing to hear some of this stuff.
Yeah. Here, like my son up in the UP, today he texted me because he's been trying to get into the police department. You know, he wants to become a cop. And like he was telling me last week, oh yeah, I talked with, you know, the guy from the Michigan State Police, and they said that they'll probably try to schedule a Skype interview because obviously they can't do a face-to-face one right now.
Right.
Blah blah blah. But he also works in a group home for troubled youth.
Oh.
And so today he sent me a text. He's like, hey, I have my Skype interview with Michigan State Police tomorrow, which obviously they're trying to ramp up hiring now because they're going to need it.
Right.
And then he got an email from his work saying that they're all getting an additional $2 an hour hazard pay.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So, I mean, stuff like that, that's awesome. Those are responsible companies that are trying to help out.
Yes.
Not like these other CEOs that are trying to go, I need non-essential workers back to work so I can make more money.
Yeah, like the lieutenant governor of Texas, basically saying, you know, the elderly, we can sacrifice the elderly, so let's just get back to work.
Yeah,
our economy needs it. It's okay if it's okay if Nana passes away because of this, but let's just go back to work. And he doesn't realize that it's not just old people getting this shit.
Right. Well, and what he also doesn't realize is it's the people that voted him in are going to be the people that are dying off.
Right.
Which are the elderly, because
exactly.
Nobody else in their right mind would vote this fucker in.
Yeah. I don't want to get into a huge political rant on here.
I don't either.
But it was pretty bad how the Republicans at the onset of this was calling this a Democratic hoax.
Right.
You know, that put us back far. And now they're like praising all the work that the Republicans are doing to help us out. It's like, don't forget that. Don't forget that they were saying this is just the flu. They were on the front lines of saying it was just the flu. It's going to pass. Don't worry about it. The Democrats are making it worse than what it really is. They're politicizing it to bring me down. So,
right. And don't forget about the fact that back in December that the GOP were warned about this.
Yes.
And knew everything about it and refused to do anything.
And the only people that actually did anything was they sold stock before the stock market crashed, which is a crime.
Yes, it's called insider trading.
Yes, Martha Stewart went away for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, but back to where we are here. So something I want to talk about is in times of crisis like this, there is something. Now, it was given a different name in the Obama administration. Now it's referred to as the Council of Governors. Okay. Now, what this is in time of national crisis, world crisis, pandemics, there are 13 governors that essentially take control of the country. And they're basically set up like warlords. Now, strikingly, it's kind of weird because I'm going to share my screen here in a second, because I want everybody to see how it's broke down. Now, if you've ever seen the Hunger Games, you can see where all the districts are throughout the
Right.
world, where it's very similar to that. Now, the map I'm going to show you is the FEMA region breakdown. Okay.
Okay.
Now, they're the same. The Council of Governors and the FEMA districts are the exact same. So,
I want to be under Cuomo.
right. So, so this is the FEMA map. As you can see, it's all broke down in different sections. Now,
Okay.
each one of these different sections is done by a different governor. I don't remember them all. It's like Arkansas and Nebraska and California and Hawaii and I do believe
Who, who the fuck made this map?
I don't know, but like I said,
Because
it's very
Detroit is not up where Traverse City is.
very true. Very true. And Seattle's not in the middle of the state, and Walla Walla's not in Idaho,
Right.
and Portland's not on the coast. So yeah,
Right.
you're right. This in Los Angeles is not over there, but I think they're just calling these district or these areas. This is the Los Angeles area, the Sacramento area, the San Francisco area,
Right.
Detroit. Everybody thinks the state of Michigan is Detroit anyway. So
Yeah, they don't even realize their capital is Lansing.
right, but in a time of crisis, the governors now take executive control of the entire country.
Okay.
So if this goes any farther, we don't have to worry about the Democrats or the Republicans being in charge, because now we have we have a round table of 13 governors that now run our country.
Right.
And they now command FEMA to do whatever they want. Now,
well, if you look at it, though, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if you look at it, each state's already basically given a middle finger to Congress and the Senate, and they're doing their own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're refusing to listen to orders from the president or anything else. They're doing what they think is right to protect their state.
Exactly, which is what they're supposed to do, because government is supposed to be at the state level, and then the federal level is supposed to do all the other shit.
Right.
States are supposed to be run by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But if we got to this point, there's a couple of spooky things about this. Now, you can go and look up the FEMA internment camps, which they had built. There are several camps around the country that are essentially concentration camps. They were built by FEMA, and they're prisons. They're not just like they're not your run of the mill like what the fuck's I looking for, like campgrounds. These are fucking labor camps, just like the Japanese internment camps. Just like probably not as harsh as the concentration camps of the World War II.
Right.
But it's all under the direction of FEMA.
Right.
Now, something else they've done is around the country, FEMA has strategically placed plastic coffins, hundreds of thousands of plastic coffins all over our country. So if this was one of those pandemics like you'd see in the movie Outbreak or Contagion or any of these others where people are dying off really, within days of this, instead of just being really sick and then, some people dying off, they're ready for it. They've been planning for this.
Right. So I just found a headline because I was curious.
Mm-hmm.
If there were, because of the immigrant detention centers,
mm-hmm.
if there was any cases. And here's a headline. Advocate call for release of migrants in Texas detention due to outbreak.
But they're probably not letting them out.
Oh, I guarantee they won't let them out.
Yeah.
But so because they'd be happier if they all just died.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because there's a family values.
Right. But there are letting. I did see a thing that in New York, they are letting people that are really close to their time. They're letting people out of Rikers early because a guard showed up with the virus and started giving it to the inmates.
Right.
And where can they go? How do they? You don't want to social quarantine those people in their cells
Right.
for weeks, like this because they're gonna go fucking nuts.
And how can you social distance yourself from somebody that sleeps right below you?
Exactly.
Yeah, see, they're doing a similar thing. I heard about it on the news here. They haven't quite made up their mind yet, but they are considering letting all nonviolent criminals out of jail because, like in Chippewa County, the jail there has a positive case.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, if we let out the nonviolent criminals and just leave the violent ones in here, they die off. And I'm sorry, this is really cold, but are we really losing anything?
Not really. Not really.
And I mean, it's like in Italy where they're having to make the choice of who lives and who dies.
Right. And so you and I did like a trial run of this show a week ago, or like last Friday.
Yeah, I was
And,
way too drunk. Sorry.
no, it was a trial run, but I'm glad that we're doing this today because when we did it then, New York was only like 11,000 cases.
Right.
They're almost 35,000 now.
Yeah.
That's from Friday to today.
Right.
And this very easily could be Los Angeles. This very easily could be Houston, Chicago, any other of these huge metropolitan areas that we have in our country.
Right.
It can explode like it is in New York. They had like almost 4,000 new cases today.
Wow.
And so
And see, Michigan is jumping up in that category too.
Yeah.
We've doubled overnight.
See, Washington has pretty much plateaued, and a lot of states where at the beginning onset of this, we were the epicenter.
Right.
We had the most cases, the most death, but we've pretty much plateaued it. We're at like 1,200 cases or something like that, and I don't remember how many deaths we had. I think it's 100.
Right, but then again, that comes down to the social distancing.
Right.
It's the states that practice that. My state did not practice that. Henceforth, the whole stay-at-home thing.
Yeah. But so I live on this side of the Columbia River, and I'm in a suburb of Vancouver, Washington, and I live in Clark County, which our county has about 400,000 people. Okay, there's quite a few people that live in this county. Now, when
Right.
you look at I looked at the numbers yesterday. We had 13 cases.
Okay.
And then there was 13 positives, but like it was like 227 negative cases.
Okay.
But if you add that up, that's only 240 tests
Right.
out of 400,000 people.
Right.
Now we had a teacher who had a student, or this is like almost 2 weeks ago.
Right.
She had a student that his father traveled extensely, and the kid came into class right before the schools were shut down and was coughing and just wasn't right. So a couple of days later, the teacher and her teacher's aide both became symptomatic. They went to the hospital to try to get tested, and they were both told you're not high risk enough.
Yeah.
So she probably had it. Her teacher's aide probably had it. That child probably had it, and the dad was a carrier or probably had it too. So there's 4 more possible cases, and they're only saying we have 13.
Right.
And this is 2 weeks ago.
Right. Yeah, it's like, okay, so the population of Isabella County, is 71,063 as of 2017. Obviously, it's gone up since 2017.
Right.
We have 2 reported cases.
Okay.
But the test here, people have called and tried to get tested.
Uh-huh.
If they're showing symptoms, here is what we have to go through here. If you're showing symptoms, you have to call the ER.
Mm-hmm.
Call the ER, and they will either tell you, no, it's just a cold, give it another week.
Another week?
Right? Yeah, give it another week. Or, once it's been that long, then they'll say, then come in, and when you get to the hospital, call us again. We'll send somebody out to test you in your car.
Oh, nice.
And then they only call people back if it's a positive result.
So if they didn't, get around to, reading your results for a few days,
Right.
you could be sitting at home shitting your pants,
Right.
needing that toilet paper because you're scared to death about whether or not you have it or not.
Right. And see, and that's the fucked up thing, because we were offered the tests. Our government turned them down.
Yes, the World Health Organization offered us like 1.5 million tests.
Right. They turned them down. Oh, we can come up with their own. Well, where the fuck are they?
Right.
Because they're so limited that they're doing shit like this.
No, we got good tests. We got the best tests.
Right.
We don't have any, motherfucker.
And it won't be long that we're in the situation where Italy is, where you have triage centers, and they're like going, okay, you're old, so we're going to give the ventilator to this younger guy.
Yeah. And right now, Washington, Colorado, or California, and New York are getting makeshift hospitals. The one in Washington is going to be a boat, and they're turning a boat into a hospital of 1,000 beds, extra beds. California, they're making like basically a mobile army surgical hospital out in the field, and they're doing the same in New York because they're running out of places.
Right. And like my wife just said, when I made that statement, she yelled from the other room, "We're already there."
Yeah, we were a week behind Italy, and Italy is like the size of Georgia, not the Russian country Georgia. I'm talking about Georgia with Atlanta. It is not very big. Actually, it's about the same size as New York City or New York. About the state of New York, and New York has got 35,000 cases. They're like 7% of the positive tests in the entire world are in the state of New York, and most of them are New York City.
Yeah, and see, like, my boss got married in New York 2 weeks ago.
Oh, Jesus.
So yesterday I was at work, and I was only supposed to work till 10, then he was going to come in and close because he had to do the liquor order. And he texted me, he's like, "Hey, my sister's really sick. Can you?" I'm like, "You take care of your sister. I'll close the stores."
Right. Don't come around me.
Right.
I don't know what sickness is, what that means, but don't come near me.
So later on, I texted him and said, "Hey, since you guys have only been back from New York for like 2 weeks, and maybe your entire family should just get tested."
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, that's the plan." I'm like, "Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much for being responsible."
Yes. Not like they.
She did not have she was tested, came back negative, so everything's good there.
That's good. Not like, say, Rand Paul, who was while waiting. He's a doctor, and while waiting to get the results of his test, he goes to the gym. He has dinner with a whole bunch of other senators, and then defends his actions. Said, "No, I wasn't irresponsible." Yes, it was, dickhead. Yeah. You are a fucking doctor yourself. Yeah. You should have known better.
Right.
So you got people like. I don't know who all was there, but I know Mitt Romney was at the dinner with him, and he was like, should I be self-quarantining? Yes, asshole. Get the fuck away from other people. You probably have it.
Actually, Romney is quarantining himself now.
Is he? Okay.
Yes.
Good.
So he is at least being, this is the one Republican that voted for Trump's impeachment.
Yes. And that is being responsible. Rand Paul should have, the second he went and got tested, should have been quarantined until he got the results.
Exactly. But instead, he was irresponsible and infected how many other people? Nobody will never know.
Exactly. And
when you get tested, they ask you every place you've been to in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so by doing that, if that becomes public knowledge, everybody knows who tested positive from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if I were to get tested, it'd be like, oh, B&B, triple deuce, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Okay, well, that's Craig.
Oh, right.
What? Oh, apparently, my wife said they stopped doing that. Oh,
really?
Yep. Do you just want to come in here and do it with us? All right, get in here.
So if you're worried about that type of stuff, here I've got an Android phone there.
Okay.
The CDC and FEMA both have COVID-19 trackers that you can get an app so you can kind of track what's going on. There's something that I use for most of my information. It's an app called Newsbreaker.
Okay.
And they have a whole coronavirus tab, which gives you basically
real-time updates.
Yeah, real-time updates on what's going on. And like right now, so New York has gone up 7,365 cases today.
765?
7,365.
Wow. How does it
They're
say how
at
many
33,030 cases. They had 95 people die today.
Does it say how many Michigan had?
Yeah, let me.
Or more than, I want to say we're like 1,400.
No, they've stopped because somebody in the cast has tested positive.
2,294. You guys went up 503 cases today. You had 19 people die today.
Yeah,
Wow.
I knew about the 19 people that died today.
Yeah.
And see, here's the thing. And this is where the ignorance comes in, because I'm going to admit I was part of the ignorance. I'm like, I lived through SARS, I lived through West Nile, the avian, swine flu, blah, 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 blah. I'll live through this. Yes, I will live through this, but am I going to come into contact with somebody who won't?
You're right. That's true. And you know, I was joking at the very beginning of this too. It's like, hey, do you remember mad cow disease? Yeah, nobody else does either. So,
Right.
You know, but you know, I was joking, and every time I cough, I would jump away from somebody. It's like, oh, it's a virus. It's a virus. You know, I took it very lightly at the beginning too, but
Right.
my tone has you know, obviously gotten a little bit more stark. So, you know, at Washington, which was the epicenter of all this thing, right now we are at 2,580 cases. You're less than 300 cases behind us now.
Right. And I'm sure there's some that have been reported that aren't on there. Like my wife just told me there's one that's been reported in Mecosta County.
Oh.
That was just like an hour or two ago.
Oh, yeah. See?
So, you know.
And I got an email from our superintendent.
You got to talk louder.
Oh, I got an email from our superintendent. It's the parents of one of our staff members.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm worried about them, and I'm worried about their parents. And because if it's a parent of a staff member, that means that it's somebody that's older, you know, probably.
Right.
I mean, some of our staff members are pretty young, but still.
Right. But if you think about it, you know, what's the average age of a first-year teacher? 25, 26?
Yeah.
So that puts their parents in, you know, right around 50 to 60 range.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's still up there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look at it, I'm like, I know I have a strong.
Okay.
Did you catch any of that? Do I need to repeat it?
No, you just had this weird look on your face and you were like.
So did you. You were stuck like this.
Nice.
So, you know, I have a strong immune system. For one, it's because of losing all the weight and exercising for the last couple of years.
Uh-huh.
But I still have, you're frozen again. I still have an enlarged left ventricle in my heart, which puts me at risk.
Yeah.
My wife has asthma, puts her at risk.
There's a guy that I work with has asthma and COPD. Like, yeah, get the hell out of here.
Right.
Right.
My brother and my brother-in-law who have diabetes, they're at risk.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like we miss my brother. We love going over and hanging out with him, but with the amount of people I'm in contact with on a daily basis, I feel it's irresponsible to go over there.
Right. my son just lives across town, but it's like we always would go hang out at a coffee shop and stuff. Like, nope, not for a while, buddy. We
Yeah.
text, constantly all day long, but
it's like my oldest lives in the UP, and I keep telling him just stay up there. There's no cases up there.
yeah.
There are no.
Oh, there are now? Okay. But, like at work, I wear gloves. I'm not worried about the people. I'm worried about the fucking money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Right. Because, yeah, they're handing you the virus.
Right. And I wash my hands nonstop at work.
Yeah, my knuckles are like bloody almost.
Right.
They're so raw and cracked from washing my hands so much.
Yep. That's why I went to gloves, because I was doing the same thing. And here's a product enhancement. Use this.
It's
from Melaleuca.
Does your wife still shop with Mela?
She hasn't in a while.
Okay.
Well, tell her to and get the Renew. It'll help your hands.
Oh, nice.
No. Renew lotion is the best stuff ever.
Nice. I use Cornhusker lotion. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
It's better than that.
Nice. Okay.
There's a little bit of bias there. I could see it on her face.
Just a little bit. I can hear it in her voice, but that's cool.
Right. I'm going to switch out and let her sit in for a minute because I have to use the restroom.
Okay. It's been a while since she's been on the show.
Yes, it has.
And he's been feeding me alcohol.
Nice.
Right?
Right. So now you also work for a school. Is your school doing a lot of the social programs that like most of the other schools are doing, like the lunch programs, daycares?
We are not offering daycare as far as I know.
Okay.
But we do have lunch on Monday mornings. Volunteers and our volunteers that are staff members and our cooks are all meeting at our central site and packing enough breakfast and lunch for our kiddos for a week.
Oh, wow.
And
so
then
they're doing the whole week on Monday then.
They're doing the whole week on Monday. And then a bus driver and a couple volunteers are riding the buses because our district is one of the largest geographical districts in the state of Michigan. So we cover a lot of miles.
It really is. It's like 6 towns.
Yeah, ours is I happen to work for the district that's the largest geographical in Washington.
Okay.
And
right.
They cover a lot of areas. So they do they're doing all the primaries.
Okay.
Are doing that plus the 2 high schools that are
nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So
this is district wide, and then most of because we're so rural, we don't have I think in cities and smaller towns you have like the bus stop where there's 5 or 6 kids at that stop, but ours are almost literally door to door because we have so many kids that are out in rural areas and spaced out. So the bags of food are literally being dropped off practically for most kids at their door.
Oh, wow.
In the afternoon. And then kids that would typically there are a few kids that live in towns that would walk to school can walk to the elementaries and pick it up, or their parents can stop in and pick it up.
So shout out to Chippewa Hills School District for doing an outstanding job in this time.
Right.
Same with the Battleground Public School District. They're doing a great job too. And all the districts around us, and I'm sure it's the same way where you're at, are doing a phenomenal job trying to get everybody through this. Like ours, the parents drive up, and then I've been going and helping out every day with it. And they just come up, they roll up in their car, they roll the window down. How many do you need? We give them today's lunch, tomorrow's breakfast. And then what we do is we just set it in their car and on their front seat. So we don't touch them, they don't touch us, and that's as close as we get.
Yeah, that's awesome. Has Seattle been doing like online learning at all? Is that like mandated, or is it
So
taking a break, or?
all of the staff that is off
Okay.
that through this is doing online trainings.
Okay.
They have to do like an hour or two every day, and then
Gotcha.
they're being paid
Okay.
through this. But
Okay.
if they don't do these trainings, they're all. I don't know if you guys do the safe schools
Yep.
videos.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
it's an extension of those.
Oh,
Which,
okay.
which you're basically like, if you know what safe schools are, it's basically the how to read an MSDS sheet, how
Yep.
no sexual harassments,
Yep.
simple first aid and CPR stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We do all that at the beginning of this. We have to complete X number of modules before the beginning of the school year each year.
Yeah.
So
That's what we have to do too. And they've found a bunch of more things for them to do.
Cool.
And so a lot of them are working from home that way, which is nice.
Right, yeah.
I just have to point out real quick. You know this beautiful job. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're funny, Craig.
I think I need to cut him off.
Right.
Again?
Yes, again.
All right.
So are the teachers doing online learning with the kids, or are the kids on like a break? Because it's interesting across the country, because like Michigan, we can give activities and suggestions, but we can't count anything we do towards our days or minutes or whatever.
Right. That's what they're doing here too. The teachers are supposed to they're reaching out to the students, just to see how they're doing, but and they're giving them suggestions on resources that they could do to continue education, but they can't do anything with them one-on-one educational wise because it's not fair for every student, because a lot of them don't have access to the internet. Some don't have computers at home, so they can't actually give them stuff to do because and it can't count towards anything because not everybody has equal.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same place we're in. I just think it's interesting because there's some states like Florida that apparently, it's my understanding from a couple of teachers I've been in contact with, like they're doing complete e-learning, and I've seen posts from teachers where some districts are requiring the teachers and the kids to spend 8 hours doing teaching and learning stuff a day.
Yeah.
And I look at our community that we're a part of, and it's like, there's no way that would work.
Yeah. So a lot of the administration here has been basically they've been on Zoom calls.
Yeah.
For 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's like, really, what do you talk about?
Right. Yeah.
After a little bit, it's like, you need just mute this, and then everybody's muted it, and then it's just webcams looking around, and then you end up with, I don't know if you guys saw that one, webcams go wrong, or calls go wrong, where that lady brings her laptop into the bathroom and sets it down, she drops the trowel and sits on the toilet, and it's just a whole bunch of people in this Zoom call, and they're like, she sits down there like, whoa.
Dude, send us a link.
I'll find it.
Oh man, that's
awesome. No, it's not awful. It's awesome. That is the epitome of Darwinism.
Exactly.
That's something I would do.
Yeah, I know.
And along those lines, what I'll say is there has been some great memes that have come from this.
Yes, there have.
There was one of my favorites was everybody knows Ralph from The Simpsons, Ralph Wiggins.
Yep.
He's a special kid, and he's sitting in the back of the bus, and it says, in a chuckling voice, it's like, I'm essential.
Oh yeah. I just ran across that one.
Yeah. Well, when it really comes down to it, let's all, and this I have to beg and plead of you people, because in the next 10 months, or I'm sorry, 10 months from now, I don't want to see an outbreak of births.
Oh, yeah.
Use fucking condoms, please.
Right.
We're already overpopulated, and my wife and I have talked about this. We strongly believe this is nature's way of doing a hard reset.
It is. And this might be the, we're going to start thinking of things as BC, before COVID.
Right.
Right.
This is the Black Plague of our generation.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen anything like this for 100 years. The Spanish
Right.
flu was 1918. So we're talking 102 years ago that we
Right.
see anything on this scale. I mean, but it's still funny because you and I were talking the other day,
Yeah.
and SARS actually killed 500,000 people.
Yeah.
But you didn't hear about that.
No, because the media didn't cover it.
Right. It wasn't
It wasn't an election year.
right. See, globally right now, and I'm not trying to downplay this because it's serious, but globally we're only at 21,100 or 310 deaths.
Which is a very, I mean, it's a lot to, you think about numbers, it's a lot, but when it comes down to the exact percentage of the population, it's very minimal.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's the percentage of the population that died.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
0.000148%.
Yes.
The problem with this virus is the number of people that are being hospitalized with it, and our hospitals are overwhelmed.
Right.
Right.
And our medical workers don't have what they need to
Right.
be safe themselves.
Exactly.
All
Where
you
they're
people
saying
going
that-
out and buying fucking masks, all you're doing is trapping the fucking virus in your face.
And so there's a big push on a lot of social media platforms that are printing out patterns from Joann's Fabric on how to make your own masks.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
fucking do
Here,
it.
look, do this. Take your t-shirt, pull it up. Okay? That's
Yeah.
essentially what you just did.
Right.
That's it. This is not doing anything more than what your mask will do.
Right.
Right.
So at least the
Yeah.
surgical masks have like a film and a wax that keeps a lot of the condensation around your face.
Right.
But if you're like Craig or myself, see this stuff that's on my face?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
renders any mask or respirator useless. There's no
That
bond.
Yeah, they're recommending that men shave if they have a
I'm doing
mustache or whatever.
I'm doing like the no shave November. I'm not shaving until COVID is done.
There you go.
Now, see, when it starts getting warm, I normally shave and go back to being clean shaven.
Mm-hmm.
I usually only do this for the winter, and I went down to the goatee just because the sides were getting so out of control and irritating me.
I know. Mine starts curling, and it's like it starts looking like pubes after a bit.
But then I got this. I bought a comb and this beard gel and started combing my goatee. I'm really enjoying it, but I'll shave it if I have to. I'm not. It'll grow back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this will grow back.
Yeah. Not many people get bald spots on their face.
Right.
Without scars.
I've got some friends that try to grow a goatee or a beard, and I'm like, dude, do you have mange?
Yeah. I've had some friends in the past that just had like the little chin whiskers, and it's like they'll do this. They're like long, but it's like it's not even. I'll admit I was one of those guys that I couldn't fill in a lot of spots on my goatee until I hit about 30.
I could do it at like 16.
See, I was never that.
And the odd thing about that is I have Native American blood, yet I could still do it.
Oh, nice.
You don't see many Native Americans with beards and shit like that.
No. No, you don't.
But yeah, so
I was almost 6 foot tall in 8th grade, and I'm still almost 6 foot tall at 46.
Right.
So
I was shaving in 7th grade, and I'm still shaving at 47. So.
oh, there you go.
But yeah, so in these times, getting back on topic, with where we're at today, obviously we have to reiterate what everybody else is telling you. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. Keep
Yes.
social distancing, and be fucking responsible. Have some common fucking sense.
And be nice.
And be nice.
Yes.
And wear a condom, please. We don't need an outbreak of children in 10 months.
You know, at 9 months from now, the hospitals don't need that kind of strain.
Right.
No.
Because they've already been strained to
They've
the
been
limit.
enough. They're done. They're done for the year. Okay.
Yeah.
They're done.
Give them a fucking break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna have natural childbirth at home, which is not advisable.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Please don't.
I saw yesterday that a couple of New York hospitals are banning
fathers,
everybody from the delivery room and from the hospital except for obviously the woman in labor and her doctors and nurses.
And as soon as the baby's born, they kick her out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know you said that was horrible, but as a guy, I was like, oh, that would have been fucking sweet.
Right. But I mean, the thing is, like, they're not even allowing like doulas or midwives or anybody else in, which So a lot of people are choosing to do a home birth, or they're choosing to leave the state and go somewhere else.
That's just fucking stupid.
Well,
it just is. Don't do a home birth. You don't, without a fucking doctor, that is the most ignorant thing you could ever fucking do.
A lot of people do home births with a midwife.
I don't care. What if there's a fucking complication?
My son's mom would have died if we did home birth.
Yep. Yeah. Same with my ex-wife.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, and I mean, midwives are very responsible, on that one. And if they know that it's going to be a troublesome birth, they'll tell their person to go to the hospital.
But either or, let's just be responsible, please.
Yeah.
Exactly. Our population is out of control as it is, and that's why we have the situation that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not add to it.
No. Exactly. And
I know you're bored, and when you're bored, you want to fuck, wear a condom.
Be responsible.
Yep.
Hey, did you want another child a month ago? Do you want another child 9 months from now? I'm guessing the answer is no.
Right.
And remember, if this happens again and you're adding to your family in 9 months, now you're dealing with one more fucking child in your house during a lockdown.
Right. That you have to feed, entertain, and discipline.
And I'm sorry, killing the children that you have now and replacing them with new children later is not right either.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm sorry. I had to question that one. I wasn't. I don't think I'm on board with that one.
We'll get it right one of these days.
Right. But hey, hope you guys all enjoyed this. It's our take on COVID-19 or coronavirus or Heineken virus or Bud Light virus, because really any Budweiser product pretty much sucks.
Yes. It's the Cerveza virus 2020.
Oddly enough, as a liquor store clerk, I've sold more Corona beer in the last 2 weeks than I have in the last 2 months.
Because it's funny.
Yeah, because it's the irony.
Yeah. Well, there was a great meme that came out with that when somebody did their whole fridge like that. There's a Corona beer on this side, and then everything else, the mayonnaise, the ketchup, everything, they all got masks on the other side of the fridge.
That's funny.
One of the people I went to high school with also works in like a convenience store, liquor store, and she wanted to put masks on all the beers that were next to the Corona beer.
Nice.
But so in this episode, we basically broke down what's going on, and we'll probably continue to do updates like this.
Yeah.
And when we get sick of it, we'll jump back to all of our other shit that we do.
Yep. And we have some good episodes coming up. It's like I want to do one on the moon.
The moon?
From the moon.
We're going to the moon?
Yes.
That would be fucking awesome.
We're gonna bring the virus with us to the moon.
Oh. Are the aliens gonna be happy?
Well, we'll find out.
All right. Because there's an alien base on the moon, right?
Exactly. So that's what we're gonna talk about that eventually. So
fuck. Let's talk about that next week.
Stick with us. And that in the biz is called a teaser.
Ooh, I feel teased.
So,
sorry. Jason's frozen in a weird. Was that your O face?
Oh, probably.
That's kind of disturbing. So, anyways, yeah, we wrapped this up already.
All right.
So,
insert tagline here.
Love you guys. Peace out.
All right. Bye-bye.